What up, blessed team? How y'all doing today? I hope all is well, but most importantly, you are having a very productive day, right? Depending on what day you're listening to this, I hope you are maximizing every single minute you have because, like I always say, there is somebody in the grave right now that will trade places with you just to get an opportunity to work towards their dreams, their goals, and their aspirations, all right? So never, ever forget that. Maximize every minute you have. So for all my Americans that actually celebrated the 4th of July, shout out to y'all. I hope y'all had fun and y'all had a good time. And I hope you really took the necessary time to spend those quality moments, at least on that day, with the people you love, right? Your mom, dad, uncle, sisters, family members, friends, and maybe even acquaintances. Because like I always say, yes, I know you guys love the phone so much, but these people, the content creators, they don't love you as much as these individuals will love you. Like those people don't love you as your mom. So put your phone down for a little bit and spend those special moments with the individuals that actually will be at your funeral. All right. Become very cognizant of this because I know like we all fall for this trap, right? The phone is very addictive. Social media is very addictive, but you can take a moment to spend some time with the people that genuinely value who you are as an individual. Never, ever forget that, right? Now, before we jump into today's topic, if this is your first time coming across my podcast, my goal and my mission with this podcast is to inspire 1 billion people to become a better version of themselves through insightful conversations about fitness, nutrition, as well as personal growth advice, right? Now, when it comes to the fitness stuff, I like to focus more on teaching you and giving you tips on how to lose weight, how to build muscle. And then when it comes to nutrition, we like to focus more on showing you how to shop for groceries and really knowing and having diversity in your overall nutrition. When it comes to personal growth stuff, we like to focus more on talking about very pragmatic stuff, things that you can implement today, things that will boost your confidence, habits, disciplines that will help you go out there and achieve your big goals, your big dreams and aspirations. All right. So if any of those interest you, you want to lose weight, you want to build muscle, or maybe you simply want to gain a little bit of confidence so you can go after your big aspirations, then this is the right podcast for you. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to the Sam Arkoh Pod. We really appreciate that. So today we really got a great topic here. We're talking about how to get your goals faster with this concept that I call the high leverage task concept. And before I even dive into anything, the first time I actually came across this concept is when I was reading this book by Bo Norton. And I'm going to have it on the screen if you watch it on YouTube so you guys can see it. But I came across this concept reading that book by Bo Norton. It's called The 5 Productivity Hacks. And he talks about a lot of things. It's a short book, so I definitely recommend it. It's a great read. It's only like about 40 or 50 pages, I believe so. But the concept that really stuck with me is the high leverage task and high leverage priority. And I want to really spend a little bit of time talking about the whole entire thing today, right? But before I dive into that, I want to explain the difference between a high leverage task and a low leverage task, right? So a low leverage task is basically a task that when you indulge in, is a task that when you invest time in, you really don't get that much back, all right? And we all know this. Things like cleaning your room, taking showers, making sure that your bed is laid. Those are really good tasks, but they're not really high leverage. Why? Because we don't get that much back for that. Now, high leverage tasks are activities and tasks that when we indulge in, when we put effort in, we get so much back for it. So the obvious thing is that you want to make sure you spend more time on high leverage tasks since we're talking about goals. Because then if I'm spending more time on high leverage tasks, then I know that I'm getting more back, which is going to move the needle towards the things that I ultimately desire the most, right? So this is something I want to make sure I clarify before we even talk about anything, because if you never understand this in the first place, then that will be the main reason why you're probably watching this episode, right? Because the thing is, some of us, we've been trying everything. We've been doing everything possible. And we're still wondering, like, why am I still not moving forward? Why am I not getting closer to the outcomes that I ultimately desire? Like, I feel like I've been working so hard, doing all the right things, doing what I'm supposed to do, but I'm feeling stagnant. I'm not seeing any type of movement in my life at all. This episode of the pod is really going to be for individuals like that, right? And so please tune in. But most importantly, at the end of the episode, make sure you implement some of these things. I believe if you do, it's going to be very resourceful. So the first thing on the list that I believe will help you maximize all your high leverage tasks so you can get closer to your dreams, your goals, and your aspirations is to make sure that you take the necessary time to write down. You have to write down, right? And this is the first mistake most people make. They don't take the time to write down their high priority task. And if you don't take the time to write down your high priority task, you're going to end up spending more time on low leverage tasks, which is normal. Some people are spending 2 hours in the shower. They're taking 3 hours to clean their room. And you have to know that if you are spending a lot of time taking showers, you spend a lot of time cleaning your room, you spend a lot of time on activities that really doesn't make a difference and doesn't really help you get closer to your dreams and aspirations, then the month is going to go by, the year is going to go by, and you're still going to feel stagnant. And so take the time and list everything that's supposed to be a high priority. For me, I like to tell people, keep it around like 3, 4, 5, or 6. It shouldn't be anything more than that. And if you take the time and you write it down in your calendar, I know that's a trigger word for most of you, but a calendar is not a prison. If I want to make sure I'm doing the right things that will get me where I need to be, I need to list these priorities in order of urgency and importance. What do I mean by that? I need to make sure that I'm listing them based on the one that I need to do first, because not all priorities are the same. For me, my top priority is reading in the morning and writing and doing things towards my newsletter, also posting my videos. Your top priorities might be a little different. So if you are working on a top priority that's supposed to be the fourth one on your high leverage task, that could be a problem. You need to understand that we have a limited sort of energy, right? We have a limited bandwidth when it comes to energy. If you woke up and went to the gym, if you woke up and you did something that's really energy draining, let's say you went jogging or you went boxing, you're going to notice throughout the day that you don't have as much energy. And we all know this. So I want to make sure that when I wake up, I am spending the time that I need on things that's actually going to move the needle based on what is my top priority. You cannot do any of these things if you are not taking the time to list all of them in a calendar. Remember, it's your calendar, not my calendar, not anyone's calendar. You have the opportunity to write down anything you want and put in the times that you want to get those things done. And I believe if you take the time to list all of these things, if you take the time to write all of these things, then guess what? You actually have something to do. You can actually become productive. But if you just go throughout the day saying, oh, Sam, I'm just going to remember, I know all my top priority, then things come up and you end up working on things that you're not supposed to work on. So please, every single week, I like to tell people, do this on Sundays. A Sunday, a Saturday, if that's what works for you, and list every one of them in your calendar. Schedule yourself. I'm telling you, if you really want to get a lot of stuff done in your life, you must find a way to schedule yourself. There's no way around it, right? Scheduling yourself really does go a long way. So the second thing on the list, after you taking the time to list all the things that's a top priority and a high leverage for you, you must dedicate and allot the proper time to work on these things. I always say do this early in the morning. Now, some of you, I know you're Nighthawks and you like and prefer to work at night. That's okay. But you must dedicate the right time. Again, tying in back to what I was saying earlier, we don't have all the energy every day. Like right now, after this episode, I'm going to lose some calories. I'm going to lose some energy. And so if you are not working on the things that means a lot to you, if you are not taking the necessary time to work on the high and the most important things based on urgency and importance early in the morning or whatever time you like to work on, but you are spending a lot of your time on things that really doesn't make a difference, you're not going to get the results you want. And ultimately, that's the whole point of this episode. We want to make sure you get to your outcomes and your goals and your desires as fast as possible. The only way you do that is by dedicating and allotting the proper time to be able to work on these things. For me, I know that if I can dedicate a focused 4 hours, I can get all my high priority tasks done. If you dedicated a solid 3 to 4 hours, I'm telling you, most of the important things that you are supposed to do for a particular day, you can get done. But we get distracted. We have a lot of social media notifications coming in, and then we end up not doing what we're supposed to do within that particular time frame. You really must become very aware of this. And like I said, if you can do this in the morning, I think it's better that way because that's when you've gotten enough rest, you feel refreshed, and you're ready for the day. 6 a.m. to maybe 9 a.m., maybe 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. saying, hey, I'm going to work on all these things that I consider a high leverage task, things that are actually going to make a difference in my life. And then you do just that. You commit to doing that. Once you finish with all those things, you can go do whatever you want on social media. All right. If you hear that my voice is a little raspy, that's because it is. And I am a little bit under the weather. So I do apologize about that. But now that we got those two things out of the way, let's jump into the last thing and the third thing on the list, because I believe this to me is the one that shifted everything for me after I came across this book, right? Set alarms and reminders to keep you on track. Now, listen, it's nice to schedule yourself. It's very important to make sure you dedicate the right time to work on things that matters to you the most. But we all know that distractions happen. We all know that things come up. And so one of the things that I like to do all the time is have alarms for every one of my high leverage tasks every single day, right? It's just another additional reminder that will keep you focused. And one thing about alarms is they help you avoid a lot of procrastination. Alarms are going to help you maintain your overall disciplines. One of the things I like to tell people is that discipline is hard. It is hard to consistently do what you must do. It is hard to show up for yourself day in, day out and do the right things that will actually get you closer to the outcomes that you ultimately desire. So the easiest way to do that is make it easy for yourself. Discipline is hard. So try to remove all that friction in between. And one of the ways to do that is by setting simple alarms. A lot of you have your phones, but you don't use the alarms for the right reasons. Set alarms for every single one of those high leverage activities that will make a difference. So when the time comes, guess what? Whatever you're doing, oh, you know what? I got to go to the gym right now. I got to go take care of this right now. Then you stop and work on what really matters. Because at the back of your mind, you know that you wrote down a few things that really means a lot to you. And you know that you're supposed to work on it. And so then when the reminder comes on, that's just second nature. You're ready to go. Do you see where I'm going with this? If you truly want to get closer to your goals faster, yes, it's great to list all of them and write everything down and schedule yourself in your calendar. Fantastic. It is nice to dedicate the proper time to work on all these things. But alarms are going to help you maintain your disciplines. And that is if you are willing to actually follow it. But if you're not willing to follow it, then it's really not going to make a difference at all. I know this is a short episode, but I still think this is a necessary episode. I strongly suggest that you check out the book by Bo Norton. It's such a great read, and I really loved it because, again, these are small little hacks. I don't like the term hack. Let's call it 5 productivity habits, right? These habits were very profound, and I know they work if you are willing to implement them. I always say this. You only get results if you actually take action. If you actually decide to wake up every morning and list all your top priority and high leverage tasks. If you wake up every morning and not jump right away and go spend 40 minutes on laundry and go spend 3 hours on laundry when you know that you're supposed to work on the project. Do you see what I'm saying? If you dedicated the time to do the things you are supposed to do, I'm telling you, you're not going to feel stuck. You're going to see that you are making incremental progress towards what matters to you the most. But if you spend a ton of your time working on things like spending 2 hours in the bathroom, which is something that I came to discover about myself, right? Like I will listen to music for like 30 minutes before I even start taking showers. And that's most of you. You watch videos, you do all kinds of stuff before you actually jump in the shower. If you're doing that, you're not working on your high leverage task. And if you're not spending time and putting effort into the things that will ultimately move the needle, you will look back a year from now and you will be standing at the same exact place. You must become very cognizant of this. All right. Let's dive into the quote of the week. Now, today's quote of the week is actually by one of my favorite American writers, and that's Dale Carnegie. It really sums up everything that we talked about today. It's a perfect quote. And whilst I was researching and looking for the quote for the week, I thought that was a perfect one the universe gave us. It goes like this. Do the hard jobs first. The easy jobs will take care of themselves. Do the hard jobs first. the easy jobs will take care of themselves. We have a limited bandwidth of energy every single day. You want to make sure you are spending the time working on things that will change your life, working on things that will give you that paradigm shift, working on things that will get you closer to the things you desire the most, the future that you want to have, the identity that you want to have. You want to make sure you are tackling those things first. Now, listen, man, I know why sometimes we opt out to go with low leverage tasks. And a lot of it, I can't even figure out, is due to procrastination. I'll save that for another episode. We'll talk about procrastination because most of us, we procrastinate without even knowing that we're actually procrastinating. And one of the ways we procrastinate is by doing the easy things first instead of working on the hard things. But as Dale Carnegie said, if you do the hard jobs first, the easy jobs will take care of themselves. We all know this. Like, if you're supposed to lose weight and you wake up and the first thing you do is you go to the gym and train extremely hard, and let's say one of the things you were supposed to do that day was read about a chapter, that seems a lot easier. We all know this. It becomes so much easier when you take care of the hard task. It becomes so much easier when you take care of the very complex things in your life. So yes, I know it's challenging. I know it's difficult. Trust me, it's not easy. But if you work on those things, those are what really matters and will get you closer to the things that you ultimately want. Thank you so much again for listening to this episode. I know you found a lot of value. If you truly listen to this episode, you will learn a lot that could transform your life. And like I always say, if you actually took the time to implement these things, these will make a difference in your overall productivity. It will make a difference in your overall disciplines. But most importantly, if you work on your high leverage task every single day, you allocate the proper time, and if you actually identify what those high leverage tasks are and you worked on them diligently, I promise you, you are going to be making incremental progress towards what you want and not feel like you're stuck in life. Thank you so much again. Share the episode with someone that you love. You know, there's someone out there that complains all the time, and I'm doing everything I can, but I'm not getting closer to what I want. I'm doing everything I can. I feel like I work so hard, but I'm not making progress. I don't see any movement in my life. Share this episode with that person. Now, it might not seem like these are big deals, but small things like this completely shifted my life because I was spending so much time on unnecessary things, and I was wondering why I wasn't moving forward in life. And the moment I made that change, the moment I made that switch and started really prioritizing the things that means a lot to me the most, because I know I can always clean my room like at 8 p.m. I'm not saying you shouldn't clean your room at all. I'm not saying you shouldn't take showers. You know, there's a quote that goes, cleanliness is next to godliness. So personal hygiene is valuable. It's resourceful. Take care of that. I have no problem with it. But I'm saying we have a limited bandwidth of energy every day. Use most of that energy on things that actually make a difference. You can always do your laundry. You can work on those things later in the day. If you're a morning person or whatever you like to say, spend more time taking care of what matters the most. And when you do, you get results. Stay blessed. And most importantly, stay out of trouble. I'm going to catch y'all next episode. All right.